Welcome to A Day in Miami. I am your host, Annabelle, live from the studios of Miami's Community News. And today's guest is Abraham Kaoud. He is a representative for NPC Financial, and he's also the president for BNI. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And today's show is sponsored by Heyday Marketing, a local public relations and marketing agency based right here in Miami. Okay, Abraham, let's get started. So Abraham and I, was it yesterday?
A couple days ago.
Like 2 days ago, we had a super long conversation with all things finances, right?
Yes.
So it's an area that I'm not very good at. So talking to you helped me understand a little bit more about what you do. So let's get started. What are some of the products and services that NPC Financial offers?
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for that great question. NPC stands for National Planning Corporation. We're a financial planning firm, and one of the oldest ones in South Florida. And I'm a representative of the firm. It's a third-generation firm,
Nice.
And I'm working with the leaders in that facility, in that business, to continue to expand and grow our business.
Nice. I didn't know it was one of the oldest ones.
Yes, it's been established since 1951.
Wow.
Like I said, it's a third-generation firm. And when it comes to products and services, we pretty much have access to all of them. And every individual that we meet, they may have different needs. There's some people that their financial plans are surrounded about their kids. There's some people that are still young and they want to grow their wealth. So we have a bunch of products that we have access to, but every individual we meet, we scope it to what their goals are and what they like to accomplish. Okay,
and just to briefly give like an overview to our viewers, on some of the products, it would be 401k, IRA. So these are more like saving and investment plans for individuals or families. So for myself, one of the things I was inquiring is, I've had 401k, and I had to transfer it because it depends on the job that you transfer to, or you could just leave it on hold. I've had IRA, right? So I'm okay in savings, okay, but anybody that knows me, I'm not great at investing. Like, I'm scared to get the little money that I have saved and invest it. But why should I? And I am quite young, not very young, but quite young.
Yes, no, that's a great point. And a lot of people are afraid to invest their money or put it in certain places. And that brings up what I'm all about in my style. Okay, there's a lot of really good financial professionals in the marketplace, a lot of smart men and women that know what they're doing. My approach is to really focus on the guaranteed returns, the safer money aspects of things. I like to protect families. I like to protect their income. And then we look at vehicles to invest in the stock market or in real estate, depending on, again, what their goals are. But yes, a 401k usually offered through an employer, but business owners could have them as well, SEP IRAs and different individual retirement accounts. And they're just mechanisms that allow for you to save your money. So when you don't work anymore and you're retired, you're living off the money that you've built, and it continues to pay you, and hopefully it can continue to pay the next generation as well. So it's super important.
That's awesome. Is there a success story that maybe you can share with us? Or if that's confidential, I get it.
I'm glad that you asked about the confidential part, because every person that we meet with, we have a fiduciary duty towards, and everything is confident. But yes, there's been plenty of people that, have come to me in my years of the business that, they're making good money, but for some reason they don't have enough in their bank account at the end of the year, or their 401k is not looking as good, or their goals are not being reached. And they feel like they're doing a lot of good things,
right,
but maybe they don't have the right education to kind of save it in the right places, or focus on maybe a 3 to 5 to 10 year strategy, right? Plus, there's a lot of people on social media throwing different ideas out there. There's a lot of confusion on what to do with your money. And that's why I like to take it to the basics with income and expenses, and then whatever money's left over, saving them into vehicles that protect your family and grow consistently. Compound interest is the most important thing in investing. And your savings rate, not the return on the money you get, how much money can you save with the money that's coming in, is the most important aspect to your financial plan.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, I could save 5% of my paycheck biweekly and put it either towards a 401k, which is like a savings plan, or invest it towards something, or save up that money first and then invest it?
Okay, so these are all great questions,
Okay.
right? It depends on your goals. So if you want to be a little bit more liquid, okay, access to your money earlier on, then there's different vehicles you could put your money into. If you're looking to build up your retirement planning, which you have access to this money after 59 and a half, okay, and there's tax advantages to certain ones, and they're growing within the markets, then you'll be saving to those vehicles, okay? I mean, if you get an employer match on your 401k, you should definitely match that 401k. Okay, now if you're an individual business owner and you have your own IRA, well, then there's different ways to talk about it depending on how you're structured as a business or an S corp. And then as a firm, we'd bring in a CPA to have conversations with you. We make sure that you're put in the best position for whatever your goals may be. Some people want to buy a house next year. Some people want to make sure they have enough to retire. Some people are wondering why they don't have enough money if they're making good money. So we kind of just sit down with the clients and talk through all of these things.
Good. And I think another fear that individuals have is once this money is saved or invested and a crisis happens, right? They lose their job, God forbid, but their home gets on fire. Like, can they take out that money, but they will be taxed on it, right? But they could take out the money.
Yeah, that's where a lot of good insurances come into play. Insurances protect you from loss of job, which we talk about. What happens if you get sick or injured and you couldn't go to work for long periods of time? Where would your income come from?
Okay.
Insurances on your homes and things of that nature. That brings up another great point. We've had this conversation, so you're getting pretty good. But protection cost should be one of the top priorities in your savings, right? Like the right amount of life insurance for your family, the disability insurance to protect your income, and then having an emergency fund of at least 6 months worth of your expenses. So you should take your budget, look how much money that you're spending on a monthly basis to live, rent, mortgage, insurances, car payments, credit card contributions, whatever it may be, and then have that in a bank account saving, probably in a high yield savings account or something of that nature, worth of 6 months of bills in case you switch jobs, in case something happens where you get fired. It's called an emergency fund. And once that's established, once that fund is established, then you should get creative with investing into the markets and creating compound interest for your future income.
That's amazing. So now, personal question. Okay, so I'm 40, turning 41. I'm not married. I used to own a home. I sold it. The market is so high, I cannot afford what I want on my own. And I live in Key Biscayne in a condo. So the condo that I wanted 3 years ago was $360,000. Now it's $550,000. I cannot afford that on my own. But I feel like my rent, which is $2,700, I'm paying so much more money than I would if I would have purchased it. Right. So now what do I do?
Well, I mean, listen, when your rent's up, you have freedom. You can move it all across. You don't have to find a buyer for you to leave, right? So when you own real estate, it's liquid in a sense, but also you have to find a buyer. And when it comes to purchasing a property, listen, I don't sell real estate. I used to have my commercial real estate and residential license, so I'm a big believer in it. And I do have it in my portfolio.
Cool.
And I think that it's forever. I'm not going to get into a debate on whether you should buy now or not because there's a lot of factors that are involved with that.
Okay.
But as an asset, it's a phenomenal asset. You pass it on to your family no matter what price you get it at. There's ways to rent it out and you live there, right?
That's right.
And if you did want to find a buyer here in South Florida, Miami, it wouldn't be that tough, right? So it just depends again. And that's why doing these interviews and things, you want to make sure that you're really specific to the clientele and the audience that every individual needs to sit down with a professional like myself and really talk about all your goals, all your debts, and then educate you on whether it's a good time to buy a house for you.
For you.
Yes.
That's such a good emphasis because, I mean, I could talk to you for hours because if there's, like I said in the beginning, if there's one subject I do not understand, it's finances. But tell me anything else and I get it. So, I mean, we could talk for hours and at the end of the day, you can come up with a conclusion on what I should do that fits my goals.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's a case study, right? I'm going to
Okay.
look at all your house insurance, your debt, your credit card, your student loan debt.
Okay.
I'm going to look at it all and then see, okay, should this person be saving more towards retirement because of their goals? Do they have the right amount of life insurance in place for their family to replace their income if something were to happen to them? Yeah, that's the thing. Life insurance, people, sometimes they get confusion on it, on what the benefits are. But at the end of the day, you're promising your family a certain amount of income for the rest of your life as you're alive, and you need to have the right dollar amount on your head or in your body to protect that future income. And as you get older, maybe you could use less life insurance as your assets grow, but especially with kids and family or spouses, or even people you care about. Plenty of single people I work with have life insurance, and they just choose beneficiaries, whether it be their family members, their brothers. And then when they get married, they could change that beneficiary.
Right. I do have life insurance.
Good.
It goes to my mom.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
because, it's barely any money. I think I pay like $27 a month.
Yes. So it sounds like you have a term policy.
Okay.
Okay. And those expire at some point.
Oh,
Some of them come with conversion riders, and we can have a conversation about them more in depth. And life insurance is just one of the tools in the tool bag, right?
Right.
Like the brokerage account in the stock market, like real estate,
Right.
like business. But a lot of times, Anna, when I sit down with somebody and they're a business owner, I find out that the best place for them to put their money is right back in their business.
Huh. That's a good one.
Right back in their
like
business.
that.
Yes, grow it, market yourself, continue to find new people to do business with.
That's good.
And once your business is kicking butt, then you can start, shaving some of that income into your retirement planning and all of your goals. The number one asset you have is your income.
I like it. And it's important, like I read this somewhere, it's important to have multiple sources of income, right?
Yes.
At all times.
Yes.
Very important. Okay. That's very important.
Yes,
okay.
it is.
And now you are married with 2 children.
Yes.
So when did you get into this field that you said, okay, this is important. I should really think about my future?
It's funny you say that. I was in commercial real estate business for a long time. I was in real estate business for a long time. And, thankfully, I've always had this hustler's mentality. I've always gone after it. I've done well in my respected careers. But I realized that I wasn't managing my money correctly.
Okay.
And yes, when I got married is when I decided to, I met a good friend of mine. He encouraged me to jump into the business. It's a great career for myself, and helping people is something I'm passionate about. And long-term relationships, it was something I'm passionate about. I felt like in real estate, and once the transaction was done, I really didn't connect with that client as long as I want to. Now I'm connecting with my clients over and over again for the rest of their lives, hopefully, and we're doing good business. So yes, when I got married, I started to take things a lot more serious. And then when the kids came, I really took things more serious because they're way more expensive than anybody told me. I didn't consider all these daycare costs and foods and toys and Christmas and everything. But I love being a father, and I wouldn't take it back for the world. But again, it's to stress the importance of saving your money and not overspending. It's crazy to me when people go out and spend $200-400 on dinner, to buy the latest sneakers, but they're not contributing to any type of investment accounts.
Right.
Priorities matter in financial planning.
Okay, I love that. Thank you so much. So let's pull up your website, and can they make an appointment to get a consultation with you?
Our website is great. There's some really good information on here where you can kind of click around, but the best way to reach me would be on LinkedIn or on Instagram, A.K. Miami. And like I said, our firm is 3 generations old. We do a lot of great planning for a lot of people across the country.
I love that.
And I'm learning from mentors that have hundreds of clients and a lot of different business professionals and all different ranges of income. That's another good point. There's no minimum dollar amount to work with me or us. Okay. I work with good families, good people that care about their future investments and care about their life and their goals, their financial goals.
Okay, so somebody shouldn't be scared if they literally have a few $100s in their bank account and want to start consulting with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love that. That's part of not only giving back, but it's a joy to me to see people start at point A then they get to B, and then they continue to grow through my teachings and coachings. And that's happened, and that's pretty much what gives me the best reward in life right now as a professional.
I love that. When you help someone else, it's truly true.
It
When you
is.
help someone else, you get more fulfilled than just helping yourself.
Yeah, and I tell my clients all the time, when I was growing up, I had always had food on the table and clothes on my back, right?
Yeah.
I had a good childhood, but when I got to maybe my 20s, I started realizing maybe my parents weren't as good as a financial situation as they should have been, right? Maybe they had a little bit more debt than I'd like them to have. But they've done some good things since I've got into the business that kind of changed their lives, which changes
nice.
my life, and it changes everyone around us for better. So,
I love
you know,
that.
financial education is a big part of what we do in literacy, and it's something I'm also very passionate about.
That's awesome. You've taught me so much already in the past 2 days that I've known you. So now let's jump over to BNI.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. You are the president, which is
Yes.
super fantastic, for the STL chapter, which is Squeeze the Lemon, right? And you're going to tell me what that means.
So BNI is a global firm, okay? Business Network International. I'm the president of my chapter,
Right.
okay? And our chapter is growing. We're 22 members. And the point is to have a networking group of professionals like myself, okay, business owners mostly, and we have seats that are designated for each career. Like, for example, we have one mortgage broker, one real estate person, one home inspector, one person like myself in the financial planning aspect.
I like it.
Okay, an estate attorney, immigration attorney, and we're continuing to grow. Okay, we'd like to get to 50 members by June of next year.
Nice.
50 quality professionals, and we meet every week, once a month in person, and we kind of share referrals with each other. We talk about our business. We educate each other. You know, for example, today in our meeting, a lady, Annabella, she did her presentation on trust. She's a trustee. And we learned so much, right? And now I'm able to take some of that information and continue to share that with my clients. And
That's nice.
yes, it's a chapter that we are really looking to grow so we can all grow our personal businesses.
I love that. And I like that it's exclusivity. So do you have a journalist on there?
I do not.
Well.
Oh, we'd love to have you. We know that you're a hustler, you're a professional, and you
Thank
fit
you.
the person that we'd like to have.
Thank you so much. Well, Eddie, the owner of Heyday Marketing,
Yes.
so he's also in the chapter.
Yes.
And he's tried to recruit me as well to the chapter. However, your meetings are so early. If we could do like a fitness meeting, talk about the products and services during fitness, I will be there. Because
Okay.
it's like 7 a.m., right?
It's 8 a.m.,
8 a.m., okay.
but still, it is something that we got to get up for on Thursday mornings. But
But
yes,
it's important.
Yeah, it is. It is because, you know, you get a sales team that's working with you that's not in your office, you know, and then you could contribute to, right? And, you know, if somebody comes to me and they're looking for, you know, maybe a CPA, you know, or a certain realtor,
Right.
I know who I see every week on that call Thursday, who I understand their business, and I developed a trust with them that I can say, hey, Abe sent you.
Yes.
And they're going to take care of that business. So that matters, right? Because we're all building our personal brand. But full disclosure, you know, with my firm, I always refer more than one person, right? If I refer 3 CPAs, I refer 3 attorneys for a client, let them decide which one they like to work with best.
Yeah.
But my BNI members are always one of those 3 because I know that I can trust them just as much as the other ones, but these ones I'm seeing every single week.
Right. And, you know, they care and they will achieve what they need to for their client. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so you've covered so much. Now we're going to get a little bit personal. So I understand that you survived a fire when you were 20 years old. So tell me about that and how that combines with what you're doing today.
Yeah, it goes back to, so, you know, some context behind this. 17 years ago, I was 20 years old, and in my college town, small town in Missouri, I ended up jumping out the 3rd floor of an apartment building.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up being the only survivor on the 3rd floor.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a crazy night, 2 a.m. A lot of firefighters were out there. It was a snowy night. but they really couldn't get to me in time. So I just decided to jump. I was a college football player at the time, so I really just wasn't worried about risk or anything. But yeah, I ended up getting airlifted to Kansas Medical Center. I had some surgeries on my legs. I did have some scars, so I am considered a fire survivor. And I go and I speak to Jackson Health here for the burn survivors in that unit. Every now and then. I was there last month on a Wednesday, and I talked to people that recently went through this tragedy. But it's important to me because I was 20 and I was in the best shape of my life, and I thought nothing could happen, and that happened to me, right? Yeah. So when I talk to clients now, and I'm saying, look, disability insurance, life insurance, I know that these things cannot happen. I know that you plan on it never happening, but having a plan in place in case it happens is good financial planning.
Right. And was anyone else in that third floor that you knew? Were you like rooming with someone? Or?
So the funny story is Brandon, my roommate, he was in Kansas City at the time with his girlfriend, but yes, 2 people did pass away that night, 2 single unit tenants. And the story, God rest their soul. But the story with me was, they gave me this. I was a sophomore at the time. They told me I never play football again. And through some good recovery practices with the athletic trainer and the strength and conditioning coach, I was able to make it back on the field in 7 months. And I ended up playing the first game of the year that fall. So that was a big deal because from my last surgery in March till August, I was grinding, I was eating right, I was, doing all the stretches, all the physical therapy. I did everything I could to play and ended up playing. And that period just showed me, what discipline was, what having a goal is, and really getting after, a dream of yours, because it was a dream to play football again after you're being told that you couldn't, right?
That's a fantastic story.
Thank you. Yeah, it was something that I'll share with my kids. And, obviously the scars on my legs don't go away. They look a lot better through training. And we were talking about how much important fitness is in our lives now. Very important to get to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. It's something I'm really big about. Fitness and business is my motto.
Fitness and business. I'm stealing that.
You could, because I have not trademarked it yet. So
yeah, there you go. I love it.
But yes, thanks for bringing that up, because it is something that, is just a part of me. I'm not ashamed of it. I had no control over it.
Shouldn't be.
But I want to encourage people that have gone through a fire or they are fire survivors, your life is not over, right? You can still achieve your goals in life. You can still become wealthy. You can still leave a legacy for your family. You can still live a very long, good life.
And I love that you're giving back, because I always say it's not the pain that matters, it's what you do with that pain.
Yes.
Help others through it. So that's fantastic. So now, on a lighter note, I was told, so that you are not a Miami Dolphins fan, but you are a Jets fan living in Miami. And I have proof. Let's show that picture.
Oh.
This is awful.
Well, why? Where'd you find that? Well, okay, so I'll give you a little background, because I love Miami, and I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. My wife and kids and I were, so I grew up in Long Island, New York, and my dad worked at Hofstra University, okay? I lived in New York till I was 9th grade. And we lived so close to Hofstra, I could walk there. And the Jets used to have Jets camp. I'm 6, 7, 8 years old. So I would walk to their practice.
Cool.
I'd see Wayne Corbett play. I'd see Curtis Martin, Vinny Testaverde. So I'd get autographs from these guys. So, growing up a Jets fan, all my dad's friends were Jets fans. So it's been a long fandom for me.
That is awesome.
But I'm hoping things turn around next year. But
do you think you'll become a Miami Dolphins fan?
I can't say that, but I do respect them. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is the MVP in my book for the entire NFL. And I think they're doing some great things. And yes, looks like the Jets are out of the playoffs. So go Dolphins for the rest of the year.
Woo! There you go. Good way to end the show. Well, thank you, Abraham, for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And again, today's show is sponsored by Heyday Marketing, a public relations and PR agency based right here in Miami. You can see the information below on the scroll.